All right, we're gonna continue this light bulb. I'm gonna try to at least get that main light bulb finished like we talked about. All right, so I'm gonna get into my Payne's Gray. I'm gonna try to start resolving this area over here. All right, my Payne's Blue Gray. I have my Carbazole Violet nearby, and my Bordeaux, and my Opera Pink. I can't remember if we had Quin Magenta on the list or Bordeaux. They're similar, so they're interchangeable. I should have pulled my supply list out. This is the Payne's Blue Gray. We're coming in with a transparent wash here. We're trying to map out our shape. So we've got a lighter bit of it. To map that in, now we're gonna feed that wash. Come on with Quin Magenta. If I had Bordeaux on the list, Bordeaux will work too. I think I had Quin Magenta. Okay, I'm gonna switch now to Phthalo Blue Red shade. You could also use an ultramarine blue here if you don't have Phthalo Blue Red shade. I like the Phthalo Blue Red shades now because they're not as granulating. But ultramarine would work. We're gonna use that Phthalo Blue Red shade back here in this. Take a clean brush and clean up. Right down here. Thirsty brush, just pulling that back. I know we need to get darker up where we just put those colors in, so I'm gonna get some more Payne's Blue Gray. And drop it in there. We're trying to get as much as we can done in one pass. My ultramarine, or Quin Magenta, sorry. Dropped Quin Magenta in there, and then I'm gonna clean up with the thirsty brush at the edge. I need to drop a little more of that Phthalo Blue Red shade back in here. Just kind of tapping it in with the tip of my brush. I wanna keep this rounded. Trying to really look at my shapes. All right, this purple back here needs another, got our Carbazole purple. It's more intense, so I'm gonna try to get that beefed up. It is the holiday season, and I have been trying to get all my gifts made and wrapped up. I just made like 50 ornaments using paintings of mine, prints of paintings. This is still our Carbazole Violet. Okay. Can come around this edge a little bit. So you see as we build up, it starts to, we have like layers that are in that photo reference. There's layers of this color, and it's starting to build up as you add on. A little more Carbazole Violet right at the edge. Got masking there. It's a little sloppily applied, so I'll have to clean up. All right, let's come in here with a little Carbazole Violet. rinse my brush. I dropped it in the middle because that's where it's the darkest, and I'm gonna pull from that. Just intensifying things here. Okay, can intensify our purple here. So Carbazole Violet, I'm in my violet right now. I got that on my brush, so I'm trying to go around, see where I can beef up. Gonna switch to Payne's Gray, Payne's Blue Gray. A little more purple. So we're doing adding value, getting things where they need to be. Some quinacridone pink in the middle. So I want to get rid of these hard edges. So I'm going to get my quin pink. Ugh, I had purple in my brush, so my quin pink got purple in it. I'm going to do Quin Magenta back here. Cleaning it up, I just have some water. I'm using that as kind of a unifying wash. We're gonna get into our, I need to look. Okay, I had to get my supply list. I'm saying, using and saying the right colors. Alrighty. So we're gonna get our quinacridone gold. This gold from the thread and the end of that light bulb is popping a color right into there. It was Bordeaux that we're supposed to be using, so which is good. That's even deeper. So get your Bordeaux. Quin Magenta works too, but Bordeaux is a little deeper. But they're both beautiful. Okay. Now I'm feeling like this is a little bright, so I'm gonna get my Payne's Gray. I'm just gonna throw a little wash of Payne's Gray in here. We can let colors from around, pull in. It just softens. All right, I'll get a little Payne's Gray and pull back here. I'm gonna switch to a little Carbazole Violet. Let's add in some Payne's Gray. Rinse my brush and pull with a clean brush. Okay, we want these curves of color coming around the edge. That's what really shows us. This is Payne's Gray, just coming around with those curves around there, and those shapes are what really show us. Okay. Back into our Bordeaux. Let's come up here and just deepening. Okay, just try not to have hard edges. All right, Payne's Gray. Get our Payne's Gray. We're gonna come around the side. I get a clean brush. How far up does this go? All right. Okay, so this area, there's this little shape here. I've got a clean brush. I'm trying to clean out some of that fuzzies. There's a shape that's bright here, and it runs along there. And so this is darker in here, but it's a little warmer. So I'm going to get a little quinacridone gold and throw that in there. Maybe even a tiny bit of Bordeaux. Rinse my brush. Yeah, that Bordeaux and the quin gold kind of warmed it up. It's like a brownish color. Okay, cleaning with the side of my brush with a clean brush. Kind of getting that to fade. Blend together. All right, clean brush, no pigment, and we're just cleaning that up. Side of my brush, pull out. Okay. It's some Payne's Gray. We're gonna come in here. I have some masking in here that's gonna do some of these little lines for us, but we also need to draw some lines in because I could have masked more. So I'm gonna draw some lines in here with my brush. Really look at your reference image. Drawing those lines in there. If you feel like you get any too dark, you can touch them up with a paper towel. There's a few that are pretty pronounced. So I'm just gonna go over them and soften them a tiny bit. But they're kind of pronounced in there. All right, let's get a little bit of Carbazole Violet. Drop it in here. Once again, I think it's a little warmer. I'm gonna get a little of our Bordeaux and drop it in there as well. Okay. some Bordeaux. We're gonna come over here into the center of this light bulb. I don't know what these are actually called. I always want to call them like the stamen. It's like the stamen of the flower. I need to look up as many light bulbs as I have painted. I need to know what the proper term. It's interesting. I've had people have asked me who would buy, you know, like a light bulb painting, and lots of people. I've had everything from people that work at electric companies to manufacturers of light bulbs to just people that like them. It's my Quin Gold. Some Payne's Gray. Okay. Payne's Gray, just touching up some of that. We'll get these filaments drawn in a minute. Let's see, let's come down and work out this. Let's get our quinacridone burnt orange. We're mapping in these shapes down here. What's going on in this little section? I have a lot of masking in here, so when we take that off, it won't take much cleanup. This should help us. There's quite a bit of reflection, you know, like bright highlights in here. Okay, I'm gonna get a little bit of my Carbazole Violet, drop it in some of these neutral areas. We'll come back in with some orange in a second. More things to define that. I'm gonna get a little, my Quin Burnt Orange. I'm gonna come over here. And then we're gonna get Quin Gold for the center. We get a little Paranone orange, not Paranone, Pyrrole orange. Pyrrole orange. I used to use Paranone orange a lot, and then I started using Pyrrole orange more. It's a little brighter, but Paranone orange is a good orange too. So sometimes your brain goes back to the colors you used a long time ago. All right, I got a little more of my Quin Burnt Orange. It's a little drier now, so I'm just getting some details in here. You know, it's kind of like you can kind of come in as long as you have like semicircles and things going up and just shapes in here. We don't want any, we want to break up the monotony of too many areas. You know, we don't want a big glob of color. Everything needs to be pretty. Okay. I'm gonna throw a little bright orange in, our Pyrrole orange. We'll just throw a little of that in while we're in here. Just a little brightness. Okay. And then when this dries, we can put our filaments in. But that starts to show you how that... Let's come over here, and we had started this shadow. Let's go ahead and finish that. So I'm gonna get my flat brush. And this is like a 1/2 inch, or this is a number 16, but it's basically a 1/2 inch flat brush. We're gonna get into our Carbazole Violet. Actually, I'm gonna get water. This is one time I'm gonna come over here with water first. In my purple area. So we have that purple shape right there. A little hair in there. And now I'm gonna get some Carbazole Violet. I'm gonna start down here because it's got the most. Ooh, that's a lot. Down here at the bottom. Straighten that shape up. I'm gonna rinse my brush. I'm gonna let it gradually get lighter. Okay, we're gonna drop in a little of our green. It's our phthalo green yellow shade. Isn't it pretty when it mixes with that purple? And I'm gonna get a little phthalo blue red shade, the bright blue color. Drop a little of that in here. Okay, let's clean up our edges. Mask. A little of our Carbazole Violet. Just kind of getting a little outline of that. Okay, I'm gonna bring a little Payne's Gray. I remember in a class I just had some hair, that little fuzzy that was trying to get out of there. I remember in one class I was taking and the teacher said, well, I'm not going to worry about digging the hair out. We can pull it out later. So I have done that before, and then it left a paint line, you know, like where the paint collected under the hair. So now I don't do that. This is our Payne's Gray. All right, we're going to get a little Bordeaux. Where this fuzz is coming from. Gets a little warmer in here, so I think I'm gonna do a little opera pink. I had a little Bordeaux on my brush when I got into the opera pink. Okay. Now I'll get the Payne's Gray. Thin, transparent wash of it. We'll get a little carbazole violet. Okay, I'm gonna rinse my brush. I want to get rid of this hard edge. I'm just gonna run my brush over that. I'm gonna throw a little of our Phthalo Blue Green shade. Payne's Gray. Payne's Gray. A little Bordeaux. I wiped my brush off. I had a little too much Bordeaux. Okay, take our flat brush. Choop, 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 choop. Clean water. Gotta do a unifying wash over this whole thing. I'm gonna clean up my light bulb. All right. Over here we have a little Payne's Gray. And a little Bordeaux. And come in here. I've got that Bordeaux Payne's Gray mix just from where we were mixing it on my brush. I'm pulling into this shape up here. Got a little quinacridone, quinacridone gold. Okay, now we're gonna clean up, clean up. Okay, come back in a minute when that dries. Just use some Quin Gold. There's actually a nice little thing of magenta or Bordeaux here. I'm gonna come in right there. Okay. Let that dry. Won't do any cleaning if we need to. All right, let's tackle the bottom of this light bulb. Told you we'd at least get this main bulb done. I'm gonna come in up here and just touch right around the edge. This is Payne's Gray. Just trying to get a little definition around the top edge of that. Your important thing is you want to make sure your roundness stays where it's supposed to and it doesn't start growing and you have a wonky light bulb. All right, these look intimidating, but you really break them into shapes and colors. So I'm gonna start. The blue would be, I'm excited, I wanna get into painting the blue, but that blue color will travel and move into areas that we don't want it into. So let's get our other accompanying colors done first. So I'm gonna get Payne's Gray. Come over here. It's a nice base to start with. Get this little shape. In there, I'm gonna drop a little quinacridone gold. Into that shape. Maybe even a touch of Bordeaux. I think a little Bordeaux into the mix. Okay, bring it. I'm gonna rinse my brush. There's a lot of lightness on this right side, but we're gonna I'm just pulling from colors around it. Now I'm gonna get a little Bordeaux. Pull in there. All right, we're gonna come over here on this side. I'm gonna start with Bordeaux, a very light bit of it. I'm gonna go around some of these little shapes. We could have masked them out. Probably should have. But masking is a fine balance of what's helpful and what's harmful and how much cleanup you're gonna have to do. Get a little, this is not warm, this is cool. All right, so we're gonna get a little Payne's Gray, tiny bit of it. We're gonna add a tiny bit of the Quin Burnt Orange. Okay. All right, when I mix that, it's the right color for the lightness. So I'm gonna pull that color over. And then we're gonna add the dark in a second when it dries. Now that we have that color combo, we can come down here. So we started with Payne's Gray. We do have our bright highlights mask down here. Payne's Gray and Bordeaux, essentially. I'm gonna try to be careful. I've just pulled into two areas where that blue is gonna be, and I don't want anything under the blue because the blue won't be as dynamic. Okay, let's come down. Trying to get these lighter areas over here. That's still my Bordeaux. And I had a little gold on my brush, I think, left over. Bordeaux. Okay, got into where the background is down here. We'll add more in that in a minute. Okay, let's see if we can come up. Still wet. We can come into the middle. Let's get Quin Burnt Orange to start. Do this shape in the middle. I like it when they're nice, easy shapes. Very recognizable. Do the whole shape. I had a little pencil line that divided where the brighter part was, but I went ahead and did that. This is our Quin Burnt Orange, and that medium value is going to be our base, and I'm going to add a little Opera Pink to the right hand side where that, I got some purple in here I need to get out of there. All right, we'll come down when we have this pink and it's mingled a little with that orange, so we'll come down and pull that color. While it's on our brush, we'll pull it there, it goes there, under here. What's it? Ouch, where's this? Let's see. This is still the pink that I pulled from, I had it on my brush, may as well use it instead of putting it in my water. Might make it a little Bordeaux. Come in heavy on the left. Stop about there. Wipe my brush off. I'm going to come back and try to kind of pull a little into here, but I don't want to lose my bright pink. Add some pink back in there. A little more Bordeaux. Okay. Still got Bordeaux in our brush. We'll come down. This light bulb is nice and big and easy to see. So these threads are going to be easier. It's still easy to get lost, especially if this is the first time you've ever painted a light bulb. It's easy to get lost in these shapes, but it's much easier that we're painting them on a larger scale. Okay, we're gonna get our Quin Gold. I'm just coming down. Use that Quin Gold on my brush. This painting's kind of nice. We have the gold bottoms. This is a silver bottom, but there's still gold, you know, that are like reflecting from other things. So you have both metals, mixed metals. That's popular right now, right? We're being trendy. My Bordeaux on my brush. Come down. So this is Bordeaux. Trying to go through now and find recognizable shapes. I'm dipping my finger in that. I go back and add some pink. I got my finger in that. Okay. All right, try not to do that. Come back to Bordeaux. All right, let's see. I don't have a lot of water on my brush right now. This Bordeaux is pretty saturated in these areas that we're putting it. Now, if you're totally lost and you feel more comfortable, because it is easy to get lost, like okay, here's here, down here. You go find somewhere that has masking or some identifiable location and pull yourself right back into that section and then work your way down. These masked areas really help because you can say, okay, I know where that is. Goes to that shape. Down here, goes to that shape. These little mask dots definitely show me where to go over here. So really, the more detailed I can be with masking, drawing, etc., you know, just helps me. Okay. Oops, I rinsed my brush and I need Bordeaux. I'm gonna bring it in up here. Getting some of these little details. Okay, I'm gonna drop a little opera pink into this situation there. Okay. All right, let's come a little lighter Bordeaux. I'm gonna come in down here. right, I'm gonna get a light little bit of Carbazole Violet on this side. Our Carbazole Violet. I'll get a little bit of Payne's Gray. A very little bit. Okay, that was our Payne's Gray. That just helped us get that little cool bit over there. I'm ready to get some of this blue in here, but I want to get the rest set up. Getting impatient. All right, we've got Bordeaux and a thinner bit. I'm gonna get a little quinacridone gold. Wipe my brush, my gold spread into my purple I just put, and I didn't want that. Well, actually, it kind of did it in a place it kind of was. Get a little purple back in there. Happy accidents, huh? Okay. Back to our Quin Gold. Around seeing where I see those colors, that shape. Quin Gold down here. Okay, now we can come in with our Phthalo Blue red shade. So I'm kind of mapping this in right now. I've got a lighter bit. I'm gonna saturate it in a second, you know, feed that wash. But I wanna get it in the right place and make sure things aren't wet and gonna, you know, have that color pull into it. Some water. Okay, I'm gonna feed that wash. This is the Phthalo Blue red shade. We're just feeding that. And we'll continue down. Let me see here. See, when I go over that Bordeaux with the blue, it turns really dark. So that's why it's really important we preserved the whites of where the blue was gonna go, and to get a lot of paint in there because we want this vibrant, bright, pretty blue. I'm gonna rinse my brush and pull some of these colors. Pull from some of the Bordeaux here. We left it a little unresolved on this side. Part of it is we need to put the darker Bordeaux and some of the lighters, but I'm gonna pull from the colors around and help us get some color going in there. And then we'll come back with a little darker Bordeaux. We do need to get our Payne's Gray up and under. We are on Christmas break week. I'm trying to have the kids leave a couple days early so we can go to my mom's in South Carolina. We're in Texas and we're gonna drive, so there'll be a little bit of drive. And of course a winter front is coming, a winter, which for the Texas and South won't mean snow, but it could mean ice and it could mean tornadoes. Always something. I'm dropping a little Carbazole Violet in here. But since we were overseas in Japan for almost a decade, I feel like we have catching up to do with family and holidays. And our family did come visit, but then we had, COVID. Japan shut down for 3 years, just opened up in October. As in a couple months ago. So they were really closed down for tourists, for anybody, for a long time. Hard to get a visa, the whole 9 yards. So we lived there, so we were fine. We did have the interesting experience of living in a country that didn't allow any foreign tourists in, and so we had the run of the place. So that was kind of fun to be able to go travel Kyoto and some place. I went to Kyoto a lot, like 5 or 6 times while we lived there, but about once a year. And it was fun to go when there were no tourists except Japanese tourists, We did have that unique experience. All right, this is always satisfying. I'm gonna get Payne's Gray down here. I could come in with my Indigo Sepia mix down here and might before it's all over, but let's map in the bottom of this bulb. Should I have done this bulb first? Probably, but I wanna resolve this one bowl for you. We had talked about that. you guys the opportunity to try the others. You guys can email me with progress if you're doing this. Might throw a little purple in there. So, I mean, I'm trying to deepen it up and add life at the same time. So I'm going to throw a little carbazole violet. In fact, I see some carbazole violet in there. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go back and touch up, darken these little areas over here. Just to give you the gist. All right. Oh, and we'll do the filaments. Where's the, I need to add a little gold down here. Oh, not that much gold. Okay, let's do our filaments up here in the center. With carbazole violet. And a steady hand. Normally I say something like that and I go all wonky. All right, I'm gonna switch to my smaller brush to do these little squigglies. Carbazole violet still. You can do this with a lighter color to begin with if you want. Okay, I'm going to switch to Bordeaux. I like to switch up the colors a little in here. You don't want to be boring and just have like a little opera pink. You don't want to have it be boring and, oh, when I add that opera pink with the Bordeaux, it made a really pretty red. I have some masking going with a little carbazole violet on top of that for the squigglies. Got masking in there that we'll have to take off. All right, what color? What is that? Oh, that's part of our shadow. Okay, that's part of, it's actually part of our shadow line, but I'm just gonna make it a filament. All right, what else? There's a line over here. I'm gonna start this in Bordeaux. And I'm gonna get a little carbazole violet, drop it in there. And I'm gonna get a little Bordeaux. In here, up, some lines in here. There's a little line down. A little line down here. Line there. Okay. All right, that's where I'm gonna stop for now. Got my big bulb done. I'll take masking off. Most of that I'll just leave sparkle. Whatever does sparkle is, you know, I might have to soften a few little lines. But I wanted to get you through the big bulb. Thank you guys for painting with me.